I'll wait till she. So the purpose of Cut is a Wrap. Like we really wanted to honor those. I see. We really wanted to honor those people that's in entertainment, and not just when you become this well-known Academy Award star or Tony-nominated star. We want to give people their flowers while they're still here, while they're still living, and while in giving other people who are coming in production and film, just giving you a platform and a voice, because I come across some very interesting people. Like people are so interesting. If you get to know them, have a discussion with them, and really just touch them, because people, what I've learned is like, when people always want to know what you can do for me, kind of thing. But in reality, it's like we need each other. It's like really COVID quote, we're in this together.
Yeah.
So we just want to make this a safe space, an honor space, a place of reverence. We want to also acknowledge all our guests and giving them a tremendous platform, because you are talented. You're a full force to be reckoned with, and we're giving you this platform to speak on that. There's no time to be humble.
Okay. Yeah.
I think artists, we like to be humble, have humility. And I learned that maybe 2-3 weeks ago, like, girl, you got to know you a beast. And you a beast too. So that's why we go here, we give you a platform to talk. So
we beast mode together.
We're beasting, we beasting together. So that's what we want to do.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I typically am kind of chill, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, don't chill out. Let it flow. Let it flow. But as we recognize, because we all had some tragic news, our brother, just out of note, like I'm shocked. I am numb. I am angry. I'm kind of weak and I'm exhausted because of things happening and going on. So we just do want to take a little quick moment of silence for Chadwick and his family, and just about 5 minutes of just refocus and just a moment of silence. All right. Okay, here we go. Cut is a wrap. Yeah. And then just to speak on is we're talking about cancel culture, and not just cancel culture with me thinking about cancel culture and then just reflecting on it in the world of social media. Like I don't know, is it me or it's just that people are very harsh on one another? Like what is your idea of cancel culture? Like, what do you think cancel culture is? Like, what's your interpretation?
What? My interpretation of it is, it's a way for people to have, I feel, control. Because when you're canceling someone, I feel like that's a way for people to feel like they have control over something. So let's say this person does something or say something that you don't like. Now I'm gonna cancel you, which means that I have some sort of control over you to cancel you. But if you look at it in the way in which when someone is canceled, the only way I feel like a person can really be canceled is if they don't own, or they can't find a way to make income without someone else. So if, let's say, you look at entertainers where they say are canceled, typically that means you can't get a job or something like that. You can't cancel like a Tyler Perry. You can't cancel him, because he owns everything. He owns his own business. He runs his own business. You can't really cancel him.
That's real. And the amount of people talk about Tyler, you can't cancel him. He's gonna keep on making what he do. He's gonna keep on doing what he's doing. He's in his own studio.
But you can't cancel an actor, actress, or someone who is a work for hire if word gets around that we need to cancel this person, that means that this person can't make income without this studio or this or this or this to bring income. But a person who has or owns their own business, who has their own thing, you can't really cancel that person.
Right. And we can't cancel Frank Beckwith.
Oh.
Let me talk about let me go over your bio real quick, because you're not to be canceled, okay?
For our viewers, let them get a taste.
Yes, let me pour it. Let me give it to him. So Frank, if you don't know, Frank Beckwith is an actor. He's a screenwriter. He's a producer, and he's an educator. So you see, he broke down, you can't cancel people. See how he broke that down in an educated way? He was born and raised in New York City. He has been in entertainment industry for several years. He studied acting and at a renowned HB Studios in NYC. After obtaining his undergraduate degree, he appeared in notably projects. He performed on in Broadway. Is that correct?
Yeah, off Broadway, yeah.
Off Broadway, in a play called Cherish Every Perish Moment, where he played lead as a big-time Mike or Pastor Mike. And he also commanded the screen in Like a Tattoo as Braden. I always like that name, Braden. That's a sci-fi. He currently is working on his first project for his new production company. He has his own production company called Focal Beam Entertainment LLC. It is an LLC. Check. The show is titled The Very Thought of You, where he served as a writer, a producer, and lead, all the while finishing up his master's degree in education. Wow.
Oh, we're all a room full of teachers over here.
Teach your ways. Amen. Oh my goodness. So you're not to be canceled. And again, I think that is all what you just said. You can't cancel anybody who is independent and already making their ends. It's like it's a power thing.
Cancel is it's a way to exude power over somebody. To say that I'm going to cancel you, so you're trying to stop them from making income. You're trying to stop them from living essentially. If you're an entertainer or anything like that, if you try to cancel them, that means that you're trying to stop their income and to shun them. You're trying to shun them and stop their income. It's like the next level of blackballing.
That's what I think. So, like, what does that like? As Black filmmakers or Black entertainers, can we afford to cancel one another or cancel our own?
Oh, that's a interesting question.
And I want to piggyback off that. Like when we talk about can we afford to cancel our own? Say an artist puts out a movie, and Black artist puts out a movie, and I don't really like this movie, for real. But because a Black person produced it, and because it's like, that's I guess seen as rare and it's given a big budget, can I say I don't really like this movie? Like have that, audacity to say it, and then people be like, but this Black person produced this movie. Let's be proud of this Black man, Black woman.
It's a miracle movie.
You know what I'm saying?
Why can't we just be mediocre?
I think the thing with Black people, what we do is we tend to, because I watched the show. I don't know if you know the show. You'll probably know it. The guy who created Blackish and Grownish. Kenyon Birds. He has a show on Netflix called Black AF. And I know a lot of people. I watched it. I actually liked it. I know a lot of people.
I thought it was good. After about 2 or 3 episodes, I thought it was pretty good. After I got off of him cussing out his kids and calling them some shits and stuff, then I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah. So I heard a lot of Black people say that they're not going to watch the show and it's corny and this and this and this. And I know we're a little harsher on us because we tend not to get a lot of opportunity. So we feel like when you get this opportunity in Hollywood, mainstream Hollywood, you gotta make it great. It gotta be amazing. It gotta be just this whole thing. But that's not always the case. Sometimes a person is creative. They're trying to work some things out. They present this thing they like, they enjoy creating, and that's just what it is. I know we tend to be a lot harder on us because we know how hard it is to get into that space to where you are in mainstream Hollywood. You're doing deals with Netflix and Hulu and all this type of stuff, and we expect us to be at a higher level. Yeah, perfect, and it got to be like Get Out. It got to be like, you know, this a perfect film from, you know. That's not always the case.
Do A Wrinkle in Time, you know. Ava can't do A Wrinkle in Time.
You know,
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, but you know, exactly, it was okay.
Love you, Ava.
I love Ava. Don't get me wrong. You kids loved it.
And that's the thing. Like, can we? And that's what I'm talking about.
Ava too.
I have a problem with criticizing other Black artists only because I know that it's hard to put your work out there.
It's hard
you to put in the strength and the mental space to just put yourself out there. So that's why I'm a little bit more. I'm less critical of like canceling our Black artists, unless it's problematic. Unless it's like really problematic and detriment to like our community or whatever like that. But other than that,
yeah. Like there's artists out there who are, you know, well known, who that I don't typically agree with their work, but I wouldn't cancel them. You know, I wouldn't cancel them, but I don't agree with.
I won't boycott it like, oh, this is trash. I won't talk about it on think, oh my goodness, don't trash, don't see it. No, I'm not going to do that because I see it's an effort. You know, it's hard work to put in a whole production. To start off
you know, and especially if you write it and everything like that, it's a hard work. It's not easy at all.
It doesn't make sense to do that. I mean, unless I don't know. This is and I was going to save this to the end, but I think we just to segue to it. All right, people to cancel.
You know, I haven't seen that film. To be honest, I've heard about the film. Okay. I haven't seen it.
So when you see it, let me know your thoughts.
Okay.
Lean Ways direct. You know, because what is?
I know a person in the industry who is not a big fan of Lena Waithe. She doesn't think that she's as talented as she is, but I don't really have a problem with her too much. But I haven't seen The Shy and I haven't seen Queen and Slim, so I don't know. I wouldn't like. You know,
I think she has a genre. I think she has the people that she reached. You know, like people. You're going to have your sections, and you're going to have your people that you normally, people will gravitate for too. Like, for example, like the Tyler Perry people who love Tyler Perry love soap opera. They love drama. You know, these are the older people who grew up on, you know, Young and the Restless and all those General Hospital and stuff like that. So they love the drama, so they gravitate towards it. And Lena Waithe,
I'm a big fan of Tyler, but not of him wearing a dress. See, so I'm a big fan of his business.
What are your thoughts about that? If for anybody wearing dress, like guys, like people, men,
they've done it. Martin has done it, and
Martin with Shanae.
I love Martin. I love Martin. I love Eddie Murphy. I love Eddie Murphy. You know.
Like they've all done it. So what's the difference with Tyler?
Now all right. I'm trying to word this.
Safe space.
Right. I'm trying to word this in a way where so I'm a huge fan of Tyler Perry. I think he's a genius as far as how he built his empire. He wrote, produced, directed, he starred in it. And the way he came up, I followed his template because I started out as an actor and I just got into writing and producing, you know, and now we're starting. We filmed last week for our trailer for the show. We're about to get into filming, so I follow his template. I'm a big fan of him. As far as wearing the dress, I know that's a big thing in Hollywood. And I wouldn't cancel anybody who wears a dress. I'm not saying that. Eddie Murphy did it. Martin did it. I think with Tyler, I think he's the one who did it the longest. And out of all of the people who have done it, because he has about 10 Medea movies, something like that. And I know he has a big fan base. I'm not a big fan of
market is Medea wearing a dress. That's his market.
Yeah, and I know he's an actor as well, and I know that's a thing that, you know, it's funny to people, but I don't personally think that I agree with that, you know, as far as when it does. I understand that some comedians don't mind it, but I just don't, because I know as a black man how that can make us look, especially like someone who is a big domineering black man and you put him in a dress, because Tyler, he's a mogul, so You have someone like that wearing a dress and running around and pulling out guns and stuff. Even though it could be funny, it's an image that it's perceived out there. That I know when Eddie did it, it was funny. I laughed when he did it. I laughed when Martin did it with Shanae name. Respucia, I love Norbert. I thought Norbert was hilarious. I'm a big fan of when he did it in the clumps. But I think when men do that, I think it's just something I wouldn't do. I'm not knocking anybody who does it. And I wouldn't cancel anybody who does it.
That's just and then that's the thing, how people, like, I love that you have your point of view. Like, you don't always have to agree with people.
No.
You have your opinion.
I'm a big fan of Tyler Perry, big fan of all them brothers. I just personally don't agree with it.
And that's the thing, people think you can't have a conversation or can't have an opinion. It's like, I'm not canceling you, I'm not rejecting you, that's just not for me. But I still, I still watch the shows. Like, I still.
Hey, listen, I found Respucia hilarious. I found her hilarious. Sometimes when I see, Tyler doing Medea, I think it's funny sometimes, But then I look at the ramification as an educator. I think about, all right, how are we being perceived? Even though I know it's comedy, I know he's an actor, I know he wrote the character and everything like that. It's just, how are we being perceived? As
especially with kids. Yeah. I want to know what the root, because I don't have any background on it, but I feel like we have our DNA, our ancestor, or we have our ancestors' DNA, or things like that. Like, there's a reason why you don't like it. It could be something from the past, slavery. Everything's always slavery.
Even during slavery, and that's an interesting point that you brought up. Even during slavery, they used to have some of the boys used to wear dresses on the plantation.
For comedy purposes, or
it was just purposes. Yeah, it's actually, I'm gonna tell you this. It was it's a new film, I think, that's a new show coming on HBO with Ethan Hawke, and he has a little I think it's called something Jones, something. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but he has a little black boy with him. The little black boy is wearing a dress, and he's a former slave, the little boy. And he's wearing a dress, and he's walking around, with a dress on, And so that's also one of the things they used to do on the plantation. Have little boys wear dresses.
I have to find this movie. What is this movie? You said something.
It's on Showtime. Yeah, look it up. It's Ethan Hawke. And he has a little. It was a poster. It came out maybe, I would say, around January, February. And Ethan Hawke is playing lead, and he's walking around with this little boy. He's probably about 12 or 13. He's wearing a dress. Yeah. Yeah. So that's funny you brought it up about plantation and stuff. It's during slavery.
It's like the Charlize Theron. She adopted. She adopted these two black boys from Africa, and she's saying they are gender fluid. They want to wear dresses. So she has the little boys walking around with dresses on. And it's another. I worked at a daycare before, and it was a little black boy that this little white family adopted, and he got twists in his hair. He black, and horsey hair, everything, and he's wearing a dress, and he's saying, "Oh, we don't believe in gender roles." I said, "But your little girl, your little white girl, is not wearing boy stuff. I'm confused. Why is this little boy?"
And you see right there those.
What I'm hearing both of you say is like the root of that, it could be triggering. Like, Tony, you brought up, like, what's the root of why you don't like it, and you always go back to the slavery. But I want to segue into talking about the number of people we actually cancel.
Yeah.
Going.
Okay, what about Bill Cosby? Is he canceled, or is he, we're giving him a pass?
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, because we started talking, we was about to go deep in the ocean.
You went to the deep end.
Good.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to give you my opinion on that situation. Just from my viewpoint, my vantage point. Because I have a daughter, so I'm a father. I'm sensitive to that. Now, from my point of view, Bill Cosby, from me growing up when I was a teenager, even before that, I remember I used to see the Cosby Show. And that was one of the first shows I saw with like a black family living, a doctor. And I never seen that before. Also was the first time I saw. I didn't know he was connected to A Different World till later on. And Different World was the first time I saw black people in college. Because the only black person I knew who went to college was my uncle. He went to University of Pennsylvania, and he was the only black person I knew as a little kid who went to college. And then when I saw A Different World, I remember seeing all these black people at school. It was something intriguing about that, just to see all these black people at school. And then I found out later he created that show. So I'm starting out from the vantage point of Bill Cosby changed my perspective on black people. Because I grew up in New York City, grew up in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and we didn't see that. So he changed my perspective on that. So I'm coming from that perspective of that. The accusations that he was accused of, I don't know anything. I wasn't there. He was with those women. Obviously, he had some sort of relationship with those women. I'm not going to comment on that. As far as him being canceled, there are a group of people. I was just at work last week, and we were talking about the Cosby Show. And she said, "Yeah, my daughter loves that show." So we have people who still watch the Cosby Show. I have, to be honest, I have never watched like a full season of the Cosby Show or anything like that, and I haven't watched like a full season of A Different World. I just started watching Different World during the pandemic. I believe that Bill Cosby.
Look, judging you on Different World. I
know. I'm gonna watch. I started watching the first season, and I like it. With his daughter who plays the character main. Yeah. So I started watching it. I think that and all of the stuff he has done throughout history, putting people through college and donating to different schools. Man, it's really hard to say whether or not Bill Cosby is canceled. Like, it's really hard to say that because I don't know. I don't know how you go down in history as far as.
I'm like, not because he did do so much for us. Like, personally, like, I don't know. Like, that's tough. Like, I don't know if I can stop watching the Cosby Show. Maybe if he did stuff prior, like after I know about it, since I've become woke about it, when he say, "Okay, I'm gonna create a project," blah blah blah. I don't know if I would, have my invest in it because my, already have a notion. So it's like maybe things in the past. It's like okay, past because I had nothing to do with that. But now since I'm aware, then maybe I got a second guess, or maybe I'll double take and depending on what it is, I don't know. It's just,
Amanda, Antonia, I'm also saying this. Do you think it also has something to do with a lot of black men I notice are being canceled? Do you think that's something behind a lot of black men?
A lot of black men are being canceled?
Yeah.
Like R.Kelley? Do you think he should be canceled?
Oh boy.
We're going in.
Oh boy.
See, people are doing marches trying to. You see people in Chicago marching for R.Kelley, trying to get him out of prison.
I didn't. I heard about it. I heard about it last week. I was hearing that he had a lot of. Yeah, I've been hearing about.
And the prison had to, like, every time he's like out and about in the prison, they shut it down. They lock it down. Like, people have to go back into their bunkers because he's doing something. It's like they on lockdown, and the prisoners are pissed. So did you hear that a prisoner fought him?
He got beat up. I didn't hear he got beat up. No.
They took his shit. They making a prison bougie. So anyway, so R.Kelley's one of them. Like we have back and forth canceled him. Not canceled because people still. I was in the car dealership. Not the other day. It was like in June, and it was a Friday, and one of the guys, I guess it was Friday, he said, "Oh, it's Friday, we're gonna put on some music." and he put out his Bluetooth and he turned on My Mind's Telling Me No. And then some of the women, I see some of them, I'm like, no, turn it off. And then the guys guys like, I see you, bro, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I ain't trying to get in trouble.
Oh boy, he put on. I can see he put on "Stepping in the Name of Love" or one of those songs.
And he jammed to R.Kelly the whole time I was there.
See,
but I think with R.Kelly is so, and even with what's his name? I'm about to say Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton too. But
as we can see, Bill Clinton was never canceled though.
I don't know. I was too young to even.
White millionaires backing him up.
He was never canceled.
What was going on with Bill Clinton? But to talk about R.Kelly, there's documentaries and
that documentary was a lot. It was a lot. I watched. I don't mean to cut you off, man. I apologize.
I can't even listen to his songs the same. So.
Yeah, that documentary was a lot to watch. As far as just accusations and everything that was going on with him. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in.
You feel about the parents. There's some white women that has been canceled during this, but their names are now Karen. So I mean, there's the ones that they've lost their jobs and
regular Karen.
Yeah, regular.
Not people that got money. Because you brought up a good point, Frank. Just like, do you see just black men getting canceled? And maybe you probably scoped into that because you are a black man and you see that in it, so you gravitate towards that. And maybe as a black woman, I may be not unaware of that because I'm more of, because
I'm a black woman.
That's not the first thing I noticed. So, but I do see that, and here I am. I'm trying to think about any black women being canceled. I don't. Maybe because we're not even up in the upper echelon to even be canceled. Like I don't even see any. Oh, I know when they butchered the mess out of Oprah friend, Gayle. They went. Oh, you remember when Gayle interviewed?
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I don't. That was she stepped out of line with that. What she said about Kobe right after he died, and speaking to one of his closest friends about a case that was closed, and that she stepped out of line the way she came at that.
And then I did research. Like when I'm looking at her other stuff, she goes there with all of her interviews, and I think that's what she does. She goes there. She don't have no feelings in it. It's like I got to get the story, and then ABC knows that, so it's like, well, she's going to answer all the stuff, but she don't care at this moment. Because remember, she did R.Kelly's interview, and he had a temper. She don't care.
You killing me, man. You killing me.
It was all I was like, she was still calm. She was like, she's not talking to him like Robert. But the fact that he was here, he was still, but he still wasn't making a point. But anyway, ABC knows she was going to ask those tough questions, and I think, she walked into it. People are sensitive at that time, but as a journalist, she was going to ask tough questions. But if she canceled, we were just in our feelings at that time. Have we forgiven her?
Gayle's not canceled.
She's one of the.
You say she's canceled?
No, she's not canceled. No,
she just had to tell her about herself.
She had to get checked. That's what it was. Okay. She had to get checked, but that's not canceling nobody. She didn't get canceled. R.Kelly was canceled, but again, he has a strong fan base. Like R.Kelly fan base is strong. Like I used to be a big R.Kelly fan. I'm not even gonna lie. I used to be a big R.Kelly fan. I thought he made phenomenal music. Like sonically, his music was phenomenal.
It's a sound.
Yeah, he has his sound was songwriting, sound structure. Albums from front to back is just we didn't have that at R&B like that. Like, you know.
Oh, Honey Love, that's like one of my favorites. And sometimes I don't sing his stuff out in public, but when I'm singing, the songs come to my head and I'm singing Honey Love.
It's hard to cancel a music artist because the music is tied to something. You know, your music
is tied to a memory, is
a smell, a scent. Music is like the only genre in film, kind of. But music is one of the only genres that's connected to your senses like that. So when you hear something, like if I hear Toni Braxton, I like go back to like 94 when I was young.
Yeah.
You know,
it makes you feel
that's why I love her so much. You know, because it ties me back to that. So music is connected to that. You know, so to cancel, you can't really. Yeah, you can cancel him as far as him doing shows, but you can't cancel him as far as how he has affected people. You know, like the music has affected people so much that you can't break that. Same thing with Michael. I'm a big Michael fan, and Michael, you know, I'm still to this day I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. And they try to cancel Michael up in the 90s. You know, before cancel culture.
Have you ever been canceled or publicly canceled someone, or just said, I'm not talking to you, you're dead, like basically burned your bridge with someone and then realized, dang, I can't burn my bridge with this person and I can't, you know, like, that ever happened?
I'm thinking about it, but no, I have never had anybody cancel me, or I have never canceled. I'm typically very thoughtful on my relationships with people. Even if we don't gel with each other, I'm not going to just cut you off and burn the bridge, and you know I'm good like that, because you never know, you know, with people, you know, how you may need them, you know, in the future, you know, or they may need you in the future.
Kanye West, speaking of musicians, and because before we talking about sexual allegations, but Kanye West, he's a political
Trump supporter, and he believes slavery was a choice and all that.
Did he ever come back from?
You know what? That Negro. I was
These are our final thoughts. So yes, be profound with your words. What about Kanye? Speak on it. I wish I had some music in the back while you.
Man, Kanye makes me sad. You know, Kanye makes me sad. You know, as far as how you go from that being such a profound artist, and now you're like a shell of that artist. You know, and I think a lot of it is his own doing. You know, a lot of it is his own doing. You know, people have been trying to help Kanye for years. Kanye is like that crazy nigga that he knows that he's crazy, but he only say crazy stuff to black people.
Yeah.
Kanye don't say crazy stuff about any other people.
Yeah.
Kanye always say crazy stuff about black people.
Yeah.
And so
you know what he's doing.
He's not very
I feel like black, we so graceful. Like we give chance after chance. We know good and well we're going to come back and salute him and bring him, open our arms and bring him back. You know, that's why he knows he.
And then he wants us to help him.
Yeah, we'll buy his shoes. We'll get his CD. You know, we don't know how to root for people and pray for people from afar, but still don't promote. You know, we don't know, still support their habit. We still support his habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kanye, he has a bad relationship with us now. You know,
kind of does. You know, I love him,
bad with us.
but you know, we need to
it's like I love that. It's like a cousin in the family that you love them, but they crazy. You just can't really hang out with them too much. You know, but then once in a while they may say some real shit, and you're like, man, cuz I met you, but you're crazy. I can't be around you. Crazy. You know, like that. So Kanye is like that. I gave up on Kanye about 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, yeah, I gave up on him a long time ago. You know, I wish him the best. I hope that he gets his mental state together. But Kanye, he won't ever be canceled. You know, because of the same thing as music. Music is powerful, man. You know, a lot of people underestimate the power of. That's why the entertainment industry is so powerful, because you know, music is such a powerful force. It can change your mood, change the way you feel about life, It can be a soundtrack to your life.
Movies,
Movies can change your whole perspective.
movies, soundtracks, and movies, like it's powerful.
Yeah, that's why even I know we did it earlier, but even with Chadwick Boseman, that was a brother that affected a lot of people, through his art. And, especially me as a black man, he was one of the few actors I looked up to as far as the craft and everything like that. But it's not a lot of people I look up to.
He was, oh gosh, he was so regal. Like he put so much respect on our culture. Like
even outside of the art, with him personally as a person, because I know people that know people that know him, and he seemed like he was a good dude. Like just a.
Speaking of people who didn't know him and was looking into social media, and when he was going through his things, and you see him and his pictures getting small, and then it was like so much negative, like because we're so used to doing memes of people real quick, not even thinking about their background.
Yeah.
And I won't consider that cancel, but I would see that's just harming words. Like you're using your social media platform to spew negativity without even knowing what's going on. And I think that's a defense mechanism for Black people using comedy or just
comedy is definitely a way to hide pain. Comedy
joking around.
Yeah.
And then when this happened, they're like, "Dang, he really was it." Okay, well, so that really, we want to end on Chadwick because I think I'm going to end on him. A good moment. So we're going to talk about a good moment, like a good memory of like when he made an impact in your life, but just a good memory of how did he inspire you to be just a better person in entertainment.
Oh man, I think the first time I saw him was 42. That was like years ago. I remember that was when I was living in.
That was so good.
Yeah, I was living in the Bronx. That was years ago. I saw 42. I said, this dude, I thought he had like a Denzel kind of swag to him, and then I found out, and then later we found out Denzel connections, which is crazy. But he reminded me of the actor, similar vibe to like Nate Parker, like kind of like that whole demeanor. Yeah, that whole demeanor.
The man-ish kind of.
Yeah, like you're very reserved, but you're intelligent, and and you present yourself with a presence that that was on that Denzel kind of level, that you commanded the screen, you commanded people's attention. And that's what I got from him. And I saw Get On Up. I saw that in Harlem on Magic Johnson Theater. I remember seeing that. I said, this dude is amazing, and just watching how he did the dance moves and splits and jumping. I'm like, this goddamn, and then I found out he was playing Black Panther, and I said, yeah, that makes sense. This dude, he can do it all, and seeing him in Black Panther, and that's the moment that just seeing a presence of a Black man like that, with that kind of domineering, strong, assured demeanor, and that came from him. That's not just the character. That was something that was in Chadwick. That was a part of him. That wasn't like an act. That was who he is. Because typically actors, you're told to when you're in the scene or whatever you're studying, you are told to use what's in you, use the experiences in you to give it an authentic feel to the words. You kind of read the lines as thoughts. You don't read the line like, I am going to the store. What do you want? You read it as a thought that comes through, so it flows through you. So that was how he was, and as you can see through interviews and things like that, that was just who he was, as a person. And
my favorite part, thank you for that, Frank. But when you talked about Black Panther and when he was walking down that tunnel with that flag, and then him and Shuri, they do that dapping each other up. That's my favorite. I get what you said when he just embodied, who he is. Right there, I saw him in that moment when he was walking. So.
He was one of the rare ones. He was one of the rare ones. We don't get a lot that's like that. No.
Amen. I'm glad we were able to have him with us.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was a pleasure.
That's
Those thoughtful, thought-provoking answers. You are an educator for real, for sure, in your own right. So where can the people reach you, or where's your IG, your Gmail? Let the people know how to reach you and how to get to Focal Beam Productions.
Okay, yes, ma'am. You can reach me on IG and Facebook at Focal Beam Entertainment, and also at Frank Beckwith. It'll pop up, on IG and Instagram. And we're going to be doing casting soon for the show. So if there's any actors out there, follow the page and you can see we're going to be casting very soon for the show, and we have a lot of things coming soon for the show. So yeah, please go ahead and do that.
Amen. Very talented, and I feel like when you're on set with him, he will have a positive atmosphere.
Yeah,
that's what I feel. Great energy on set. So
yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Cut.
It's a wrap.
See you later.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it.
Bye.